Leo, welcome to your reading. This is going to be for February 2024. It is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. If this one doesn't resonate, definitely check out those other placements. It is a general reading, so it may not resonate for everyone who watches. So we're going to get into your current energy, the near future, what you don't see coming, and then what Spirit wants you to focus on this month. And then we're going to pull a bunch of other cards. You and your person, singles, things like that. So if you'd like to stick around for all of that, I would appreciate it. And if you are returning, welcome back. Thank you guys for all of your support. If you're new, welcome. I do hope if you enjoy the messages, you'll consider subscribing. And then if you would like a personal reading, that information's in the description box below or the About section of my channel. All right, so let's see. Interesting. So your card's coming out in reverse. So this may be a month where you're feeling maybe a little less ambitious is the word that I'm hearing. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes we just need to take a break because you guys push a lot. Your energy is typically very high. And if you feel a little bit run down, it's okay. Sometimes the energy is a little overwhelming and we need to take a bit of a break. So maybe some parts of you just need to, I just heard level up, which is interesting because if we don't take a break, if we don't rest, our body doesn't have the time and the energy to heal, or we don't have the space to think and prepare or do things where we need quiet. And if you're very active, typically, this feels like I need to slow down just a little bit because it feels like there's some things coming. So this month may feel a little bit tiring physically. Doesn't mean that it's anything negative, like I said before. All right, so let's look at your current energy. We have the Chariot. I just heard something about July. There could be something popping up in July that's very significant. For some of you, this could be about a move that's coming up. We have the Hierophant in reverse. It's got me a little stumped because I don't think it's that you've lost faith in things. Maybe a part of you has felt like, is anything ever really going to move forward? If you felt stagnant, for example, and this makes sense because with the Strength in reverse, if you're not feeling like you have the oomph to push forward, maybe some of you have been feeling a little bit like, is this ever really going to change? Are things in my life going to move forward? Is something going to give? And I do think that's the case. I mean, some of you, yes, it could be about moving, but it's about how the energy gets going. And especially if you're in a place where you feel a little bit stuck and you know change is coming, we have to rest before change happens. I know we don't all think that way all the time. Sometimes we have to push through when we're tired. But in this case, I feel like it's a time for you to just rest while things get going. Judgment in reverse. It's like something's already been decided and you don't have to worry about it. If there is a significant change that you want to make in your life, you've been heard. Maybe you don't feel like you have, but you definitely have. Let's see what comes up in the near future. So we have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Three of Wands. Now, there could be an energy of a person in your life that is Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but this would be somebody who seems a little bit shut down or maybe emotionally shut down. If you are connected to someone who is of that, because we have the Chariot and the Queen of Cups, both Cancer energies, the Three of Wands could be that there's something that you may be waiting for with this person, and maybe they're not showing up in the way that you had expected. For some of you, this could be a parent, it could be a partner, it could be a lot of different things, but I feel like you've been waiting for a long time for something to get moving, and maybe this person has distanced themselves from you. Let's see what's going on. We'll clarify and figure out what's going on there. The Two of Wands is in reverse. Something is not going to be the same as it used to be. The Two of Wands is definitely about future energies and feeling like things are possible, right? Where you have the world in your hands. And in this case, something is kind of shutting down and disconnecting, and that could be a little hurtful. Let's keep going, and again, we'll clarify to see what else comes out with that. So what you don't see coming is the Nine of Cups, and then we have the Fool in reverse. Okay, so you're being protected, and I know this sounds like, ugh, I don't want to be protected. But yes, you are. You're being protected from taking a chance with something that could have kept you stuck or stagnant. So if you had been pursuing someone in your life, doesn't matter if it's a male or female, it's just the energy, and they're shut down emotionally, there could be a reason. Like I said, there's some kind of choice that's already kind of been made for you, even though you're not aware of it, that you need to be distanced from this person because you wouldn't have been happy, or there's something about it that isn't really fulfilling you, and maybe you needed to figure that out. Not saying it's any less hurtful, but it definitely feels like it's a protection of your happiness. So the Hangman is a good thing because you're coming out of a space of maybe feeling like you've been waiting. Again, it's a lot of waiting energy. Something just dropped and I don't know what that was. The Three of Wands is like waiting for something to come in. The Two of Wands, there not being a future with something, somebody shutting down, it not being fulfilling, not taking a chance. And then the Hangman is like coming out of a place of feeling stuck. But there's also a sense of understanding. So you may finally get a clear answer as to why things are happening the way that they are. Okay? So what does Spirit want you to focus on? The Knight of Wands and the Five of Swords. So you've already won one battle is what they're saying. They're asking you to slow down a little bit this month. The Knight of Wands would be a lot of action energy. And I just don't think this is one of those where a ton of action is happening. Maybe it's a focus on, like I said before, some kind of movement or hoping for some kind of change. Some of you, yes, it could be a move, like I said before. But this is like needing to focus on revamping your energy. So if you can take some time, I feel like I tell you guys this a lot. Like I have to keep reiterating to Leos, you need to take a break. That is your energy. It's Leo, Sag, and Aries. And the Five of Swords, like you don't have to continue to constantly fight for things. You may have trouble just kind of sitting back and allowing things to come to you and allow the universe to bring things because you're so action oriented in general. But I feel like they're trying to say, focus on what you've already conquered and don't beat yourself up about what hasn't happened up to this point. And then we have Temperance. Okay, so there's an understanding of, yes, you've been patient with things. Sometimes we just don't need to go back and forth. If she were in the upright, I'd say, maybe a part of you is in and out, and in reverse, it feels like you don't need to have patience with something anymore. You just need to allow yourself to release and let it go. And if it's this person, clearly there's some sign that letting go is going to be the best thing for you. Or the idea. It could be the idea of something that you thought was going to happen and you've been waiting a really long time and been as patient as possible and you're losing hope with it. And that usually, when we get uncomfortable, is a huge signifier that something's about to shift and change. But we don't have the answers as to what that is. I couldn't possibly guess for each of you. You know that. It is a general reading. So we'll see if there are some things that are specific as we can get. Let's see what your challenge is. The Emperor is feeling in control of your circumstances. So it's Aries to me and also Taurus energy. I feel like a part of you feels like you aren't quite where you used to be and you want to get back there. So let's clarify. We'll see where these messages take us. All right, so why are Leos a little bit tired? I mean, I can guess that. It's because you do so much for others and you're active as heck. All right, so we have Death in reverse. Okay, you've gone through a massive death and rebirth. Some of you, it's just internally. The Page of Cups. This is finding a new way to do things that you love. So the Page of Cups is, you don't have to throw everything out. It's finding taking a small step. But here, they're not wanting to take I can speak today, not wanting you to take action in the way that's like fiery and passionate. It's like take baby steps towards something, because something about you is significantly shifted and they want you to be ready for this new thing. Here again, twice, confirmation. Something has definitely worn you out. But there's some need to change how you feel about either your love life or how you approach love in general, or what's happening in a partnership, or some kind of disappointment around that. Now we have the Six of Cups. So the Chariot with the Hierophant and the Six of Cups, things balancing out for sure. This could also be a lot of support from people in your life that matter most. Typically it could be family or old friends, things like that, the things you love and enjoy. Maybe it's time to take a little time out and spend some time with those people. And then we have the King of Cups. So it's interesting because that's a lot of emotional maturity. So for some of you, this is getting deeply in touch with your masculine energy and not allowing people to take advantage of the nurturing side of your nature. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It just means that there's a side of you that is needed to take a step back and realize maybe you give so much of yourself emotionally that you're a little bit exhausted. So in this case, I feel like you're mastering something around your emotions, and it's more the masculine side of your energy. So the Queen of Cups in reverse with the Three of Wands. Now, something is definitely, the Five of Pentacles tells me that something needs to be left behind, and maybe you haven't left it behind yet, or this person or the energy connected to them left behind yet, but I feel like you are going to. Again, it's like this could be you or another person. Somebody else has removed themselves, shut down emotionally, or you are the one that's like, I'm not going to continue to be this overly giving, loving, nurturing person because my cups aren't being filled. So you're going to see a lot of changes in that area too. Bit by bit, I feel like you're pulling back. It's not that you have to stop being somebody who's loving and caring and nurturing to others. It just means you'll know right away when you meet someone. When you're conscious of this type of behavior and you've noticed that you've waited for other people to show up the same way that you do, you just have to learn that if they don't, they won't. That's important. The Eight of Wands. So things are going to start moving quickly. There's going to be some communication that comes in. It could be from this person. It could just be that your energy is like, no, I need to put my thoughts in other places. I need to focus where things are going to be moving forward and not on things that have no future. Clearly don't. And sometimes it takes us a few tries before we figure out that something isn't going to change or be what we hoped it would be. And clearly it's important because what you don't see coming is something would not have fulfilled you long term. So somehow you're being protected from that. The Queen of Pentacles is coming out because there's something or someone else that's much more stable that's going to be coming into your life. If you're single or if you are deciding that you want to get out of something, this is also very much about things working out in your financial life, just happening. I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of people can't grasp that your motivation has always come from, or your ideas, they always come from spirit and guidance and things like that. You're still going to be guided regardless. Even if you don't feel like doing things, sometimes it's because you're meant to rest. And we don't have faith that if we don't keep moving, that things aren't going to happen, but they will. There's a time and a place for everything. So just trust that if there's something that you've been hoping for and wanting that's going to be more fulfilling, a relationship, probably a more steady one or stable one, then this is the time in which that shift is going to happen and you're going to find that. So the Hangman in reverse, which is a good sign, Eight of Cups. See, that's freeing yourself, right? Letting go of these emotions and freeing yourself with wisdom, clearly. Because when you're in Hangman status, if you will, it's because there's something that you need to be enlightened about. And sometimes it's just that we feel a little bit stuck and we need to understand something better. So when you're asked to give yourself a timeout, it's because there's something that you need to figure out. So I think you're leaving something behind or walking away from a person because you do want more stability. Maybe you realize that, for those of you that are single, that it's a little easier to be alone and do you for a bit of time and then find somebody when the timing is right, and just allowing it to come when it's meant to come, especially with the awareness that I feel like you've already gained and this emotional wisdom that you've gained. All right, so what Spirit wants you to focus on, we have the Knight of Wands and the Five of Swords, the fight that we were talking about. See, this is important because this is also your card. And the joy and the happiness and the things that you've already conquered in your life, don't feel like you give yourself enough credit for that. It's almost like if I'm not moving a million miles a minute, then something's wrong. And Spirit's like, no, we want you to be happy. You don't have to go at this pace in order to find joy in your life. You've already overcome so many obstacles. This is about you focusing on your happiness. So it's going to be important to recognize that. I understand, again, I keep wanting to say it's not easy when you've had painful experiences, but this is just what they want you to focus on this month, is giving yourself credit for the things you've already overcome. So Temperance in reverse, we have the Nine of Wands in reverse, which is, if it were in the upright, I'd say, okay, you're on the other side, the wounded warrior, the difficult things, you're still on one knee, but it's upside down. So it's saying there isn't a lot of going back and forth, or there probably are not as significant of lessons coming up as what you've had in the past. So I just keep wanting to say pat yourself on the back. So this challenge here with the Emperor, now that could be somebody else in your life that's challenging you. Maybe it's what you believe you should be or how empowered you would like to be, which is a great thing. It's not that I would say being empowered is a bad thing. It's just not feeling on top of things or in control of things. I know it can be scary at times, but it's the best thing you can do is to release that need and find yourself in flow. Let's see what we get. 6 of Wands. Okay, so that fear is that you're not going to get to a better place or a calmer space, or maybe even get over something that you've been emotionally dealing with. So that is the challenge, that you'll ever get to that place where you feel a peace of mind. This is so hard to hear, but it really is a choice. It is a choice to feel at peace at any given time in your life. Not easy, because we want things to look a certain way. I get that. But there will be a time when you finally find that peace of mind. It's when you decide you have to let go of some things that just wear you down and aren't fulfilling you, and focus more on the stability and the independence that you want to create within your own life. Okay, so we are going to get a little bit of advice. Let's see what the advice is for this time period. Okay, so we have the Empress energy. There's ideas that are trying to come to you, and the reason that I feel like you're being slowed down is because something is brewing. When we get that, yes, she's very much pregnant, but it's because everything is within her. Everything that she needs to know is going to be shown to her. And yes, there's a lot of ideas that are brewing in that. Now, some of you, it could be about pregnancy. Very few. Doesn't always come up in readings. But you could be wanting to be pregnant, or you may get pregnant. So just beware of that if you are a feminine energy. The Page of Cups, something new. There, again, is the Page of Cups. Some kind of new love could be coming in, and maybe a part of you is a little leery, but you may be looking at it like, okay, maybe that's a possibility, or looking at things differently. Then we have the High Priestess. See, your intuition is really high now. So the advice is just to pay attention to that. And that's the best that you can do for yourself. If something just doesn't feel quite right, don't let it linger. Like I said before, if somebody isn't who you would like in your life, you've got to make that decision quicker than you have in the past, so that you don't go through a painful process. So pay attention to your intuition. King of Wands. This is great, because I feel like there's a part of you that's going to feel very confident, and they're saying, stand your ground with things. The King of Wands is adamant about how he feels. He's very fiery, and there you are. I mean, you're the Leo, the lion, and wands are your fire energy. So it's really great. It's like, I know who I am. I'm not going to apologize for that. So the advice is to definitely pay attention, really pay attention to the things and the people around you, especially in love situations. And if they're as passionate as you are. All right, so if you do have a person, or there's someone that's on your mind, we're going to check into the energy of that. It's going to be a quick one, but let's see. All right, so we have the Magician in reverse for your person's energy, the Nine of Cups. The Ten of Swords is in reverse, and then the King of Cups. Okay, this is interesting, because there can be some conflicting messages. We have the King of Cups over here. Here it is again in your person's energy. I feel like there is someone who definitely has love for you and wants to not give up on a relationship. There's something about them that wants to like, I can't get it out. It's like they want to put in the effort, and maybe a part of you isn't 100% sure. For some of you, this can be somebody newer. I think for you, you don't really want to overthink things. This is good, because that tells me, with Strength coming out for the third time in this, which doesn't happen, your cards, specifically your card, it's like you have the strength and the courage to push through, and part of you is maybe willing to open up and give something a try. But I think you're going to have to, in this case, if you're holding back how you feel, or maybe not wanting to express yourself too much, that's okay. But if you're holding back a little bit, that's what it feels, I'm just going to say that's what it feels like you're doing. Maybe you're not giving of yourself completely just yet, with whoever this is, or if you have in the past and you're not sure, maybe you don't want to speak to them right away, but they definitely have love for you. And yes, it could be a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. No doubt they're trying to figure out if you feel the same way. It's not going to be the same person you were meant to release. That's probably something from your past. All right, let's see what we have with the romance. Angels, we have chemistry. Okay, there's a strong magnetic attraction here. Unrequited love, there's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep the relationship going. Interesting, because, I mean, two totally conflicting. So it could be for some of you, you're not sure. There may be chemistry on one person's part and not on the other, meaning there could be with them, but you don't feel the same way. Make the effort. Great love is worth taking the steps you are guided to take. You got to make a choice. It's up to you whether you want to do this. Romantic feelings, your feelings are real and worth exploring. That's kind of conflicting. So just take what parts resonate for you, because if you are kind of back and forth about this, you're not really sure how you feel. Obviously, it's going to be up to you. You have free will. All right, let's see what the Lover's Oracle says. Interesting. Sexual union. Honor the place in one another where you are one eternal soul, for there you will find true bliss. That could be your intimate connection, but it could be that you need time to get to know somebody to get to that place. Let's see. Emotions are a natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. Remember, I was saying before, if you had something to release, you don't want to bring that into a new situation. So if there is something that is still there, connected to someone from the past, that's what was popping up in my mind as I was reading it, then clearly we want to clear that before we try to get involved with a new person. But if you are with someone and this is how you're feeling right now and you're not really talking to them because there's some resentment and you want to make things work, then clearly there's something that needs to be worked through, especially if there's resentment that's built up. If you could do anything, what would it be? The answer dwells in your heart, not in your mind, for the heart is the gateway to the soul. Okay, so it is a heart matter, no doubt. You've got to make that decision with your heart. Freedom, there is nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. All right, so I'm going to get a couple of cards from the Wisdom of the Oracle, and then I'll get you one of the Australian Oracle cards that have a message along with them. All right, let's see. Serendipity. So, see, things are brewing. Pay attention to the 18th of the month, because there could be something that pops up that brings in good luck and maybe some of the answers that you really need is what I'm feeling. So you could be born on the 18th, the 1st, the 8th, or the 9th of the month. And then we have co-create. You could be 40 or born on the 4th. There's a lot of wanting you to pay attention to co-creating with the universe. Again, it's something that takes time and energy and patience. So do your best is all I can say. Community, a lot of togetherness. This may be a slower month energetically, but I still feel like there's a part of you that really loves to be connected to people, which is always going to happen. You know, AIDS or eternity, that's always going to be a part of who you are. So you could be getting out a little bit more and spending more time just being connected to people. It's good for Leos anyway. And I know there's some that are born in the end of July, but 8 also represents August, which is a majority of you. And then we have Never Ending Story. So something is definitely wrapping up. If you've been feeling like there's been this repetitive cycle, as I've mentioned about the Pluto, that wherever it sat in your chart, you could have felt like whatever this is, I just need to get out of it. Well, that obviously is going to be significant and start changing. You could be 37, born on the 3rd, the 7th, or the 10th, and know that that's a new beginning. So something is definitely coming to an end, and there's going to be a new cycle there. All right, let's get a card from the Australian Animal Oracle for you. Let's see what card you need. So we have, I can never pronounce this, Barramundi. It's soul searching. So that may be it. You could be soul searching this month quite a bit. So you could be born on the 13th, the 1st, the 3rd, or the 4th. So let's get the message with this quickly. All right, there we go. Got right to it. Barramundi's message is to look deep within and connect to both the male and female side of self. Remember, I was talking about the masculine and the feminine energy earlier. It reminds us to swim away from the muddy waters where people and situations can cloud our ability to find peace and happiness. Oh, this is a great message for you guys after what we read. The card asks that you celebrate the changes and growth you are undergoing through deep personal soul searching. So that's it. That's what's important, is the soul searching this month. So you could be doing a lot of that. A lot of focus on what's next. All right, my loves, those were your messages. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the messages. And if you would like a personal reading, as I mentioned before, the information's in the description box below or the About section of my channel. Have an amazing February, and I will see you in the next one.